Welcome to a new video on the Parts channel. Okay, I'm going to make a short video, but I think it's very interesting about a very common fault in modern TDI engines, which is the electric water pump. This one I have in my hand. Well, it belongs to a Volkswagen Golf 1600 TDI from 2017 that had 80,000 kilometers. The problem is that the owner told us that for a long time. He had noticed, well, that the engine temperature was rising excessively, and lately he had noticed that water was leaking from under the engine. Let's see, this electric water pump, as I said, these tend to give a lot of problems. This one in particular has given all the problems it could give. First, as I said, the temperature was rising, then it was losing water through the pump, and water was also coming out because the solenoid had burned out in this case, but unfortunately the cover that covers the blades so that the engine reaches operating temperature as quickly as possible had remained up, covering the blades. 59. Look, here we are, checking that the solenoid is burned out, okay? And that cover that should go up and down, well, it doesn't move. Look, you see, it was in the upper position, covering the blades. Look, that's how it had stayed. And of course this is a problem because it doesn't let the coolant move inside the engine. So of course there's overheating, and well, it could cause a problem with the cylinder head gasket or the cylinder head, okay? Due to overheating, apart from the fact that it was also throwing the coolant out because this pump is already in bad condition. Also, one of the coolant hoses had broken due to the pressure since the coolant wasn't flowing. An excess of pressure was created, and what happened, as I said, was that a hose had also burst. Ooh, you have to be very careful with this. As I said, the invention that the people from the bad group made, well, was that they put this piece that covers the blades that you see there, and then the coolant doesn't move while the engine is cold, okay? Well, what this does is that since the coolant doesn't move, it heats up sooner. But of course, when it's already hot, this has to go down so that the blades start working and move the coolant. In this case, the problem, as I said, is that the solenoid that you see there had burned out and had become blocked and was also throwing water at you. Of course, as I said, this had created an enter in the engine and you broke a hose. You have to be very careful with this, okay? If you have a problem with temperature or water leaks, take it to the workshop as soon as possible to avoid major problems such as a blown cylinder head gasket or cylinder head. Or, as I said, this is a very common fault in modern TDIs. Well, here is a short video. If you found it useful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel.